Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone at Woolwell, and Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect destined to be saved. I am the brother Kalab from the GMS UK London Forecasters Camp, back with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. So let's jump straight into it. This is an article from the Mirror, and this is another example of how cruel Israelites can be, particularly the Israelite woman, and that doesn't just apply to, the so-called black woman. It applies to you Northern Kingdom women as well, because at the end of the day, you're all cut from the same cloth. You just happen to be of a lighter complexion, but the curses are all on our people, So this is a story. Let's read it. You see this little girl here? It says, stepmom tricked girl 3 into falling into washing machine full of water where she drowned. Now this story kind of hits home for me because I'm not going to go into it too deep, but there's some real wickedness that took place in my own family, amongst my own family, generation before me, stuff like that. And this reminds me of some of the stories that my mother would tell me about her own upbringing, having to deal with some of the cruel and sort of endangering behaviour that, came from my grandmother. I don't want to go into it too deep, but similar stories, of putting children in dangerous positions or precarious situations with no sort of thought or care for the child's safety. But talking about this story right here, this woman basically orchestrated this child's death by setting up a scenario where the child would be put in harm's way, which, to any sane person, that's the last thing you'd want to do. If you have a child, you want to protect them but we'll read this story, and I imagine that there was an air of envy and jealousy in the stepmother, and the scriptures do say all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. So let's get into this. Isabelle Oliveira Asuncal, if I'm saying that correctly, 3, drowned when she climbed onto a side and fell into a top-loaded washing machine while she was under the care of her stepmother in Pereira, Brazil. So these are Israelites. And again, we're under the curses, man. Let's read it. Even the scriptures talk about, the Israelite woman being cruel to her little ones. It says a wicked stepmother is accused of tricking a little girl into falling into a top-loaded washing machine full of water where she drowned by placing her toys inside. Isabelle Oliveira Asuncal, if I'm saying that correctly, 3, lived with her mother, but spent Fridays and Saturdays with her father. While he was working, she was left in the care of her stepmother, Susana Daza dos Santos. Yeah, so the stepmother was cruel, because it's not her seed. So I suspect there is an air of jealousy there. But let's read it. It says the public prosecutor's office in Paraná in Brazil has accused dos Santos of arranging Isabelle's drowning by carefully putting her favorite toys inside with a footstool nearby. The appliance was full of water and she was left alone for half an hour. So that's cruel, man. There you've got pictures of the young girl that died. Now, obviously, this was a judgment from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, because we know that pertaining to Deuteronomy 32 and 39, which I'll read. Deuteronomy 32 and 39. It says, "See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand." Is it Isaiah 45 and 11 as well? Let's check that. Is it all 45 and 9? That's Isaiah 45 and 5. "I am the Lord Yahweh, there is none else. There is no God with me, God besides me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none else, that there is none beside me." Forgive me. "I am Yahweh, and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh, do all of these things." And just before I go back to the article, we'll read this other pertinent scripture, which is Job 4 and 7. It says, "Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off?" So nobody who dies is innocent. We're all paying for the sins that we've committed in this life and in the lifetimes past. This child is no different. What the hell is this? Yeah, this poor child's no different, but at the same time, for someone to want to harm a little child, in the word they say, "Oh, an innocent little child." No, little children aren't innocent, because we've all lived previous incarnations where we've done sins and we pay for them, when we come back on the earth, which is the place of judgment. So, nobody is innocent, but at the same time, children are vulnerable. And for someone to want to harm a small child, that's pretty, cold-blooded. But, with women, nothing's off the table. Let's read on. It says, the spokesman for the police prosecutor's office said, "The defendant foresaw and consciously assumed the risk of causing the victim's death. She placed a plastic stool in front of the washing machine, which was full of water." She added, "Dos Santos placed some of the child's toys inside the aforementioned appliance and placed Isabelle on the bench so that she could play with the objects in the water." Dos Santos was charged with willful homicide for a vile motive and use of asphyxiation and domestic and family violence, with the other charges accepted by the authorities on the 14th of January. So this is a photograph of this crime scene, where the poor child died. The step stool is next to the washing machine. And this is the thing, these things are built so that, children can't climb on top of them or whatever. So she orchestrated the setup. And I don't know why that washing machine doesn't have a lid, but there you go. Her lawyers, Paulo Hara Jr. and Sulaine Gundim, claim the accusation is exaggerated and what happened was an accident. They insisted the stepmother and the stepdaughter had a good relationship and there is no evidence she intended to take her life. Gundim said, "We understand there is no intent. There are no marks, nothing mentioning in this process." A lawyer for Isabelle's unnamed mum, Alexander Bellner, said she prepared the entire situation for the crime to happen. And that's something that women are, they accustomed to. They scheme and they plot, as I said, let me not quote it, let me pull it out. Let me pull out this precept. Bear me while I find it. So 25 and 19. This says, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Let's read that again. Sirach 25 and 19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. Let's go back to the article. It says, where was I? A lawyer for Isabelle's unnamed mum, Alexander Bellner, says she prepared the entire situation for the crime to happen. The machine, the stool, she was wearing socks, the toys were placed in the water. This is a sad story, man. Based on her family history, she was not one to play. Several indications led us to believe that everything was prepared so that it would result in death. The fact that she spent more than 30 minutes alone in a laundry room in these serious circumstances. All of this evidence and the records show it was a deliberate act by the stepmother. That's fucking cruel, man. The defense now has 10 days to formally respond to the accusations, after which a judge will decide whether to maintain the charges, in which case the case will go to trial by jury, or to amend the charges. And that's the end of the article. But, I'm really wanted to bring this out because this week I've seen quite a few stories which really highlight the wickedness of Jake, man. Especially the Israelite woman, and how cruel they can be towards their young, Let me get some more precepts here. Bear me a second. Because it comes down to the curses, essentially. Deuteronomy 28. And this is verse... Deuteronomy 28 and 56. And again, this story hits home hard to me because, as I said, I'm not going to go into it too deep. I don't want to put my business out on Front Street like that. But, there's family situations which, could have played out similar to this that happened in the past because of cruelty and neglect towards young children. But, was it Deuteronomy 28 and 58? Is it I want? No, that's not the one. Yeah, this is it. Deuteronomy 28 and 56. 28, 56. Let me say it again. This is Deuteronomy 28, 56. It says, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil towards her husband, towards the husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter. So that's one of the curses, Deuteronomy 28 and 56, on our people. That a woman's eye will be evil towards her husband and towards her own son and her own daughter. Now, this child, I believe the child's name was Isabelle, wasn't this woman's daughter, but in the kingdom, do you think that women are going to treat their husband's children any kind of way? Because in the kingdom, we're going to have more than one wife. Remember that. It's lawful for a man to have more than one wife. So let's say you have a woman and you have a child with her, and another woman that you're dealing with is around. Do you think that she's going to mistreat that child in the kingdom? No. In the kingdom, she's going to love that child because she loves you. And there's not going to be no enmity between the wives where they're at each other's throats and jealous of each other. No, that's what happens on this side. In the kingdom, it's going to be perfect harmony because we're going to have a one man, one man show, if I can roughly paraphrase that without butchering it. Hold on. Just finding the precept here. I can't find a precept. The words to roughly paraphrase it aren't coming to me, so I can't search for it. But long story short, we're gonna have multiple wives, multiple children from these multiple wives, and we're all gonna be harmonious as a family. There's not gonna be any enmity between us as a nation. We're gonna be strong. So these are all things that are happening now. You know, where this stepmother murdered her husband's child out of jealousy. You know, that's not going to be a thing for us in the kingdom. Let's read the rest of this curse. Deuteronomy 28:56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil towards her husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter, and towards her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them in the want of all things, in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in the gates. So, yeah, this story's kind of resonated with me, as I say, kind of hits home, you know. But there you go. These are the curses that our people are under, and, you know, when this child comes back, you know, she might come back into the kingdom now, rather than having to, you know, catch a new, you know, see the destruction on this side. You know, maybe she'll, you know, come back and be blessed in the kingdom. But yeah, sad story. But yeah, man, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Lord willing, I'm gonna be back again shortly. So with that, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ruach double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect destined to be saved. And I'll catch you on the next lesson. Shalom for now.